There's a lot happening, as always, in this season. As you may know, Israel has resumed its campaign in Gaza, and it's actively it's gone in to re-enter Gaza. It sent some airstrikes in the other night. It's actively going in now. Of course, we're watching it for those of us that are getting ready to go. Hopefully we don't get our flights canceled while getting there, and then hopefully we don't get our flights canceled while we're there. So, a lot happening. I also know that they're releasing JFK files, and there's a lot being uploaded. I have kind of a rule for stuff like this, is just give it some time and let everybody go through and make the presumptions and consternations, and then we'll get back to it if it's pertinent to who we are and what we're doing. There's been a couple things come out that may or not be pertinent, but stuff like that it's important to watch. It affects who we are. We're keeping ourselves looking upward is what I'm getting at. I've been talking for several weeks about artificial intelligence and what's emerging through artificial intelligence. One of the aspects of artificial intelligence is that its relationship or possible relationship to the mark of the beast is compelling. The mark of the beast just isn't a physical mark. That's an outward symbol of something that represents complete allegiance to the Antichrist, and it is going to be an instrument of identifying, regulating, and controlling those who are here on earth to be enforced, and compliance for those who are here on earth to the allegiance of the Antichrist. Revelation gives us a pretty clear image of what that is. Revelation 13 says it, meaning the beast, the Antichrist, was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Also, it causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, both free and slave. So we're covering the entire gambit of society. It doesn't matter how affluent you are or how needy you are, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The mark is a global, economic, and enforced mechanism to require absolute control and allegiance to the Antichrist. We know that this is going to happen. We've studied this. I know you guys have studied this many times. But without it, people who do not possess it, without it, people will be completely cut off from the system. This global system that without the mark, you will not be able to gauge in simple purchases. Why? Because of CBDC, central bank digital currency. The digital currency is going to be the control mechanism to which the mark is going to interact. Does that make sense? So, without the mark, you can't access your digital currency. And you may say, well, maybe there'll be underground currencies. Maybe, but not likely. Why? Because the mark is the control mechanism. Without the mark, you can't buy or sell. Without the mark, you can't engage. And the verbiage of Revelation says this is global. This is absolute. Daniel describes the fourth beast's control of the kingdom upon the earth It says, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms and shall devour the entire earth. The words here underscore the complete and consuming action of the beast system that we are looking at right now, that we are watching unfold before us. This final world system will be like anything anybody on this earth has ever seen before in all of history. And it's going to use advanced technology. The electronic, maybe it's an RFID chip. Some have thought quantum tattooing is another mechanism that may be. We know that it's a visible mark. Interestingly, the word that's used for mark, we also find in the Greek the root palisades. It's a sharp, pointy object, usually made with fencing. Under a microscope, the quantum tattoos and the quantum chips that go onto the skin of people look like palisades under the microscope. Maybe a coincidence? Maybe not. So if you can imagine today, you walk into the store and you have your card here, and it's got a little chip right there. And you'll take it, and it used to be, you remember you had to sit it on the clerk would set it on the machine, and they'd have these carbon copies, and they'd run it across, and then they'd run it back, and it'd imprint the numbers, and then eventually it would catch up to your card system, and it would take the charge out of your bank card. Then we got electronic, and you had to swipe the card. And then for a while after that, we had to insert the chip into the machine, and they said that was for security purposes because it made the transactions encrypted and you couldn't modify it, and the store had no means to be able to know the numbers or save the numbers, because every once in a while you'd have some restaurant or something like that would charge your card twice, or maybe make changes to your charge or something, or steal your numbers. So they wanted to keep that from hackers. Well, now you don't even have to insert the chip. It used to be you'd have to say, well, do I swipe or insert? I don't know. And they would tell you. Well, now you don't even have to insert the card. You just lay the card onto the top of the machine, and in a second, it reads the RFID that is in the card and makes the transaction happen. So the next logical step is that you don't even need the card anymore. You just take your hand and you put it on the machine. How convenient is that? They're already doing it. Keith, go ahead. Where's the microphone?
Well, you just missed a step. We got a phone.
Well, we got the phone. You're right. Yeah, I can double click, get my Apple Pay. It's got my card information right there. You're absolutely right.
So next step is the hand.
So right, because it's already right here. I can go on my computer and hit Apple Pay and click with Apple Pay, and not only pays, but it populates my mailing address and everything, so it automatically sends the product to where I'm at. In Europe, people are already implanting these RFID chips into their bodies. I just implanted a chip in my dog the other day. But the purpose of all this, do you see the pre-programming that took place? It's just natural to lay the phone or to lay the card on the machine, and in just a second. And then the next thing is just, yep, okay, thanks for the groceries, have a nice day. In Walmart and Sam's, you can load your cart up full of stuff and walk out the door, and it'll read everything that's in your cart and associated with your account automatically withdraw from your bank the what was in there. And they say, well, that way we control theft, because you can go to the self-scan right now, and there's the honest people will sit there and scan everything, but there's scoundrels or thieves that will come along and maybe scan only half their groceries, and it's a real problem. I was at the grocery store the other day and got tired, so I went to the break room. And the woman said, what are you doing back here? I said, well, I work here. I scan my groceries. I might as well sit back here and take a break. No, I wasn't. But without the mark, no one will be able to buy and sell. This is where we're going. This is where we're on the edge. How are we going to make sure that compliance is kept real time of all people at all times with that amount of information? It can only happen at the way we're at right now, the way I can see it right now, through quantum AI. AI controls the digital economy. You're not being faithful to the Antichrist, to the beast system. You're outspoken, whatever it is. We shut your banking off until you come complicit. How many people who think they're going to rebel will suddenly want to comply once they can't buy groceries or gas or their internet or their Netflix, for goodness sakes, or anything else? Suddenly, they're going to find that they can't do anything without compliance. Unless they're scammers. But how do you eliminate the scammers? Because once you have an AI system that is advanced beyond human ability to keep up with, then you can't scam what you don't understand. In China, they're already using social credit systems. These could enforce scanning faces. If you're not in compliance, then you don't get the job that you want, or you can't buy the car that you want, or you can't live in the nice neighborhood that you want, or you may well find yourself completely out and living homeless because you are not compliant with the CCP. Keith?
It eliminates the underground economy like prostitution and drug dealing too.
Yep.
Can't get away with anything.
Including stealing from your boss or stealing from the government, because AI will be able to comply, make sure that your biometric identification and your blockchain-based IDs, blockchain technology is a key in understanding this. And I don't have time to get into blockchain technology, but AI will be able to drive all this. Blockchain technology is very advanced encryption, and AI will be able to verify who can buy and if you are buying for what you need. You know, if you've got a family of 4 and you're buying 12 bottles of milk, well, why do you need 12 bottles of milk? You don't need 12 bottles of milk. You're only getting 2 bottles of milk. Or you've driven too much this week. You're not going to be able to buy more gas. Or you're not compliant with your social credit score, so you can't go on that vacation this year. You can't buy your airline tickets. AI will provide, through the blockchain technology, surveillance and persecution of that. It was given him to make war with the saints. Who are the people mostly that are not complying with some of this stuff? But it's the Christians. Why is it? And it's not because we're contentious. It's because we're doing our diligence. We're seeking truth. We're upholding to things. And if someone is coming along saying you're going to worship this way or worship that way, we're the ones that say no. Anonymous AI military forces could enforce total compliance. AI will have a role in worship enforcement. Did you notice this in Revelation 13? That it's going to force those who have the mark and those of the world to worship the beast. Complete surrender to the beast. In other words, you can't just fake it till you make it, or be underground. AI is going to create an image that speaks to the commands of worship. Could this be an AI-powered holograph or digital representation? What will the people on the earth that are here during the tribulation do when the gold statue of Nebuchadnezzar is raised and they say no? Specific technologies AI could use is AI-powered brain interfaces like Neuralink, could be required to access the economy. AI-driven scanners could verify who can and cannot buy and sell. I think that what they're doing right now in our government to try to find compliance and who is, and we don't give Social Security to 2,150,000 people or anything like that, or the waste that's coming out of some departments, that has an easy propensity to go beyond, and we have the person in charge of that to take it beyond just simple government wasteful spending watchdog things. So it could go into, we're going to put a Neuralink in our employees to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and following after government regulations and getting the work out of them we need. AI-driven scanners could verify who can and cannot sell. Like we said, you go up and you hit your mark on the scanner, and in an instant, it reads you. It tells if you're compliant, if you're available, what your social credit score is, and if you can buy your gas or whatever. AI-powered digital currency, no cash, no escape. Every transaction could be AI monitored, and descendants could be locked out instantly. Your money that you keep, right now, let's say you have stocks in the stock market for your retirement, you have gold in your retirement, that's tangible currency, or at least it's supposed to be. If you were to go to the bank and say, hey, I need to withdraw $10,000 out of my retirement today, the bank would come back and say, okay, come back tomorrow, we'll have the cash and give it to you. That's tangible cash. What you have to understand about digital currency, it's not real. It can be turned on and it can be turned off. It's never truly yours. It belongs to the government. It belongs to the banks, and they control it, and they turn it on and they turn it off. Behavior enforced AI. AI could track your speech, your thoughts, and actions, and determine loyalty to the beast. Even hidden Christians could be exposed by AI-detected micro-expressions, keystrokes, or behavior patterns. All of this sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But what's happening is this is on we're on the threshold of all this. Now, AI may be used to control the tribulation, but God's sovereignty remains supreme above all things. We've got to remember this. Revelation 19:20 says the beast and the false prophet are ultimately cast into the lake of fire. Victory belongs to Christ, and no AI system will change the outcome of God's plan. So my final thought is we are witnessing the technological framework of Revelation being built before our eyes. It was important enough to be included in Scripture. This last book of the Bible isn't to be ignored. It isn't to be just left aside as something that is scary or mysterious or not readable or understandable. It was written there for your edification. It was written there for your knowledge and for you to be awake and aware and awaiting. The time to watch, warn, and proclaim is now. And if it was important enough to be included in Scripture, it's important enough for us to understand what's going on. It's important enough for us to take a look and say, wait a minute, this aligns with what the book has said.